And we have another big loss to tell you about. Veteran newscaster David Brinkley has also died. For nearly half a century, Brinkley was a dominant face in American broadcasting, first as half of the Huntley-Brinkley Report, and later as host of the Sunday morning staple, This Week with David Brinkley. His career spanned 11 presidents, 4 wars, and 22 political conventions. David Brinkley died at his Houston home Wednesday night of complications from a fall. He was 82 years old.
It's quite a few years ago now, but there was a time when many, if not most, of the male correspondents at NBC News talked like this. They all had essentially the same delivery. Brinkley.
Sir Winston Churchill came in here today looking as fine and fit as ever, his face pinker than a baby's.
It's difficult today to comprehend the impact that David had back then. Half the country was walking around saying, "Good night, David. Good night, Chet," because that's how Brinkley and his co-anchor, Chet Huntley, ended their nightly newscast.
Good night, Chet. Good night, David, and good night for NBC News.
In their heyday, Huntley and Brinkley were simply bigger than anyone who occupies an anchor chair today. Chet had a face that looked as though it belonged on Mount Rushmore. David was the first anchorman to inject a note of whimsy into his broadcast.
I was a little staggered to see this convention start on time, and so were the delegates because they weren't here.
Until he came along, network anchors felt obliged to sound like Moses delivering the 10 Commandments. David saw the humor in our pretentiousness and in many of the people and stories that we covered.
Radio and television should be allowed to do their work at a convention on television. This is John Chancellor somewhere in custody.
And what they might charge him with, I don't know. It couldn't be vagrancy because I know he's got money in his pocket.
Loose thread on it.
More than 20 years ago, the executives then running NBC News thought that David was washed up. Boone Arledge, who was then president of ABC News, knew better and created a Sunday morning broadcast called This Week with David Brinkley.
From ABC News in Washington, This Week with David Brinkley.
Good morning. We're glad to have you with us. We have a new Sunday program for you.
It was an instant success. And though it's been years now since David retired, some viewers still find themselves referring inadvertently to The Brinkley Show. David often ended those broadcasts with a light commentary.
We'll be back with a few words about some, this is the truth, a few words about some people who watch this program stark naked in a moment.
Much of the charm of which lay in watching how tickled he could be by his own dry humor.
The Internal Revenue Service has sent a report to professionals in the tax field, people who have to know about this kind of thing, a report saying that in the event of war and nuclear attack on this country, the collection of taxes will continue. It says that within 30 days after the last nuclear blast, the IRS will be all set up to assess, collect, and record tax payments, and ready to issue, as necessary, new forms on how to keep your taxes paid during the emergency. It says in the areas of the country hardest hit, delinquent taxpayers will be given a little extra time. Otherwise, taxes will be collected as usual. For those who are worried about this, if there are any, worried that in a nuclear attack there would be nobody there to take their tax payments, the answer is they'll be there.
David Brinkley, who died last night in Houston, Texas, was 82. He was courtly and charming and unfailingly nice to his younger colleagues. For all of us here at ABC News, good night, David.
The ABC television network mourns the passing of longtime newsman David Brinkley, journalist, pioneer, friend.